you go.
What is up, guys? My name is Mark and welcome to r/EntitledParents. These stories are super fresh and only been posted in the last couple of hours, so hopefully you haven't seen these ones before. If you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story is from Asking for My Brain. Menu changed? I won't be back. Before the pandemic, I worked in a dine-in movie theatre. Like, waiters come to your seat and take your order and bring you cocktails and food, menus and full meals sort of thing. We had a full bar out front in the lobby instead of a concession stand too. We still had popcorn and candy though. Mind you, while the food is decent, it's just standard chain fare and most of it comes frozen. I've done every job in the building except for cooking and managing. At the point in time of this story, I was a bartender. Our menu had mostly the same for the first 6 or so years of this particular chain being open. Typical menu, burgers and pizza and chicken tenders and salad sort of thing. Suddenly, corporate stupidly decided to completely change it. We had new desserts and completely tossed our old ones. New names for all our burgers, got rid of our homemade pizza dough and a lot of pizza favourites, etc. But the biggest change was that they eradicated the chicken tenders and the kids menu completely. Now, kids had to order adult size entrees, which we aren't exactly a kid-friendly theatre anyway. Anyone under 18 has to be with a parent more or less, at all times, and babies under 3 are just flat out not allowed into the building, because we are, legally speaking, a bar, and attendees were replaced with boneless wing bites. You get 8 or 12 of these measly little balls of bread chicken that can be naked or tossed in sauce with fries or salad. Naturally, some customers were frustrated, but hey, corporate decision, I can't change it. Anyway, as a bartender during the week, I was in charge of selling tickets and handing out menus. During the weekdays, we rarely had a ticket seller on duty out front, so people are supposed to just walk in and purchase from me. A woman, who we will call Karen, K for short, and a 15 or so year old son, who we'll call Billy, or B for short, come in. I know I've seen them before, so they just purchased tickets and asked for a food and cocktail menu. I assented and launched into a little spiel management told me to give out as I handed out the new menus. I said, no problem, just let you know our menu has changed as a few days ago. There are some awesome new items, but unfortunately, some of our old items have been replaced. Kay said, oh well, that's okay, as long as I can still get the chicken tenders. My son and I love them, that's the only reason we come here instead of the theatre we actually live beside. She begins to flip through the menu. Me, cringing. The tenders are one of the items that have been replaced. We now have boneless wing bites, And she cuts me off. What do you mean? You can't take off the tenders. The son says, Mum, it's cool, we can just try the bites. Kay says, they better be as good as the tenders. She's grumbling as she stalks towards their assigned theatre, and her son gives me an apologetic glance as he follows her behind. They're the only people who end up in the theatre. Again, weekday, slow. So when the ticket comes through, 10 minutes into the movie, for a drink, in the one I know it's hers. To make it up to her that the tenders are gone, I make her drink look extra nice, garnished all pretty, and the colour. It was a blue raspberry spiked lemonade. It was fantastic. I tried super hard as a newbie bartender to make this thing epic. My manager took a photo of it when I was done. I was damn proud of that drink. I'm friends with her waiter too, so I tell the waiter to make sure her food comes out perfect. I just want to avoid complaint at this point and give a good experience since the only reason they came here was for the food. Specifically the tenders that they both love so much. About 20 minutes into the movie, 10 minutes after the drink, I see her food come past and go into the theatre. Not even after 5 minutes later, this woman comes out storming with a plate in one hand, drink in the other, and right up to where I'm making drinks at the bar. She's fuming, her son is on her tail and begging her to calm down. My little anxious heart jumps into my throat, then falls out of my butt. I hate angry customers. She speaks before I can even open my mouth. She says, manager, now! I say, yes ma'am. I walk around the bar and to the manager's office and knock on their door. As I'm waiting, I glance over my shoulder and see her overturn her plate onto my drink station. She'd gotten the boneless bites, tossed in sauce, so now the area of mats which I mix all cocktails on is covered, and I mean covered, in spicy barbecue sauce and wings and fries. She pours a perfect drink on top of it, right as the manager is coming out of the office. My manager is awesome. We call her Violet, V for short. She doesn't even look at me, just runs straight to the woman. I follow behind, but keep a bit of a distance. The manager says, Mom, what seems to be the problem here? The son says, nothing. Mum and I are just leaving, everything's okay. Karen says, shut up, the stupid bartender told me that the tenders are gone and I had to order the fucking boneless wings instead. I ordered them and they're gross, and she's so incompetent that she can't even make a damn mixed drink right. This drink is gross and your standards for good fucking food have dropped. I want to speak to corporate. Manager says, well, here's the hotline number for corporate, but my bartender did make the drink correctly. I'm sorry it wasn't up to your standards, clearly, as you smushed all of it into my bar. Karen says, I just figured since it's her, points at me, fucking fault, she can clean it up. Because I'm somehow at fault for the entire menu change countrywide. Sorry I get paid $8 an hour. Not my deal. Manager says, the menu change was a corporate decision. My bartender didn't take the tenders off and she made that drink perfectly. I'm sorry you're this upset and I'll make sure corporate is aware. She says, I'm leaving a Yelp review too. I'm never fucking coming back here. Everyone know not to come here anymore. My son is so disgusted with your food. The son says, actually I thought it was good, mum. Please, it isn't that bad. She turns around and says, shut up, it's not good. You should be shut down. You don't care about your customers. I will never ever come back here. Fuck you! She's shrieking at this point. She reaches into her mess and picks up one of the bar mats she smeared food and liquor into and chucks it at me before running out of the store. Luckily I dodged the mat, but food and drink dropped onto me, and the floor too now. Her son, bless this poor kid, grabs a roll of napkins off the nearest rack. We have napkins and condiments in racks on the bar, and starts trying to clean it up. He's crying quietly at this point. I don't blame him. I was on the brink of tears myself. This would have been so embarrassing to be that woman's kid in this situation. I get down next to him and gently take the napkins from him, telling him it's okay, I got it. My manager gave him 2 free tickets and said if him and someone older wanted to come see movies, she'd take care of his food too next time, but his mum wasn't welcome back. We escorted him to the door where his mum had pulled up in her car and was slamming on the horn to get him to hurry up. They left. I cleaned it up and spent the rest of the day smelling like chicken and spiked lemonade, sticky and grumpy. Karen tried to come back a few times, shockingly. Billy still shows up with his dad or older brother and is always the absolute sweetest kid to me and the waitstaff. But the woman has shown up alone and I always alert Violet when she appears and she's always told to leave. Shockingly, she never throws a fit, just walks out. We never heard from corporate about her either. We still didn't have chicken tenders. God damn, what a crazy bitch! You gotta feel sorry for the son in that situation. They're having to deal with that woman as a mother. Our next story is from Pickles Tickle 91. Entitled Dad forces his way backstage at high school production. I grew up with an abusive and controlling arsehole of a dad. You could say he was also entitled. I don't have many dramatic stories about him though, and most of them belong in r/insane parents or r/raised by narcissists. But I do have one story I can think of. When I was in high school, I absolutely loved theatre and theatrical performance. I participated in every full production since 7th grade. I personally didn't have many positive experiences, but that's more because of the directors and also different stories altogether. In either my freshman or sophomore year of high school, the town name high school theatre club performed Disney's musical adaptation of The Little Mermaid. In past years, when we sold tickets, we just sold a set price of tickets to anyone who wanted to buy them. This year, however, we started selling VIP tickets with a VIP experience. You had reserved seats in the front middle section of the auditorium, as well as snacks and a meet and greet with the main cast, Ariel, Sebastian, Triton, Eric, etc., and backstage tour. Only VIP ticket holders were allowed backstage. While opening night approaches and everyone is going great, the main cast is having fun in costume playing their characters while meeting with parents and kids, while us background characters are prepping sets and getting our makeup done. The only thing separating the backstage from the main hall at this point is a black curtain, for easier access for the VIP ticket holders. However, there was no security other than P and M, the theatre and musical directors, who were guiding the M&G tour. Well, they bring the VIPs backstage and I see my dad, ED, waltz right up to me. He said, "Hi OP, everything looks so amazing." I said, "Wow Dad, I didn't know you got a VIP ticket." He said, "I didn't." "What?" "I only want to come backstage to see my talented girl," and he comes in for a hug. I let him hug me, but not very enthusiastically. "If you're not VIP, you can't be back here, you didn't pay for it." Edie is hurt. "But I only wanted to see you, is that so wrong?" At this point, the VIP tour was leaving. It literally wasn't much, just a walk to the back, look at our prep and props, moving on. I said, "Dad, you need to leave. It's not fair for anyone else who paid to be back here." He huffs and puffs and starts to leave. "Fine, but I bet if I was your mum you wouldn't have yelled at me." Number 1, my parents were in the middle of a divorce at this time. 2, mum would have done this in the first place because she may be just as controlling, but she's not as entitled. And the cherry on top, 3, after the tour, right before we kicked off the musical, P approached me and I got in trouble because my dad just had to break the rules and come to the back. I was blamed for not making my dad aware of the rules and not discouraging him. It's kind of bad that like the teacher or whoever was in charge expected you to deal with an adult. They expected you to parent an adult. That's what I kind of don't get with that story. But yeah, your dad should have stayed back and respected that rather than just embarrassed you, of course. Our next story is from Sub2 Deadmeat. Insane religious aunt berates my cousin over her boyfriend and soon-to-be husband and is shocked when her son sided with her. Hey guys, since my last post had so much support, I decided to post more stories about my insane aunt. My aunt is an ultra-religious Muslim, and she has injured me in the past. PS, sorry if some sentences don't make sense. I had to do a rough translation from Levantine Arabic to English. I'm not sure if I got that right. Cast, IC Innocent Cousin, OP Yours Truly, CC Cool Cousin, PBF Poor Boyfriend, EA Entitled Aunt. It was a nice winter evening. EA had just come back from Dubai. I was spending the weekend with Innocent Cousin, and my entire family has greeted her with an open heart, but my wounds with her are still fresh. Innocent Cousin was also entitled Aunt's niece, and Cool Cousin was her son. But Innocent Cousin saw her as a mother figure because her mother was always at work. Later during the night, Innocent Cousin decided to introduce her boyfriend to EA, but problems began to develop when they started talking about marriage. Aunt says, "Oh sweetie, you're such a lovely person. When are you getting married?" "Oh, we're getting married at a church." She said, "Excuse me?" Innocent Cousin says, "Please EA, we all know what happened with you and OP. We don't want it to happen and I get cut off." For some reason, EA started yelling again. EA says, "If you don't want it to happen again, don't marry this arsehole in a church." "Mom, please, I really love her." "If you really love her, you would leave her alone after I just warned you." Cool Cousin says, "Mum, that's enough." "Yeah, we don't want a repeat of what happened between me and you. If he wants to marry her in a church, so be it. I'm not going to listen to the talk of a pagan worshipper. You already cost me my relationship with your mother, you little shit. You're not going to do the same thing now." Cool Cousin was getting mad, and he started yelling. He said, "Enough, Mum. Stop hating other people for what they believe in. You already have ruined many relationships with many friends and family. Why can't you keep your mind open and accept the fact that people who are different also exist?" At this point, the tension in the room can be cut with a knife. Innocent Cousin says, "Please, Cece, that's enough." And he says, "No, that isn't enough. She already harmed OP, and she'll be willing to do the same thing to you if you marry him." Then EA has the guts to smack Cool Cousin across the mouth for speaking the truth. "You son of a bitch, I raised you for 18 years, and now you're supporting disbelievers." I'm an atheist, she was talking about me. I say, "That's enough EA, don't you realise the more you try and push your own agenda on others, the more you will be hated. Even your own son hates you for your actions, the son which you raised. It's about time someone called you out on your stupid actions like trying to kill me. PBF and IC are getting married whether you like it or not." The poor boyfriend quietly, "Thanks man." Entitled Aunt and Cool Cousin have finally calmed down. Cool Cousin says, "Mum, please, just for once, open your mind. Please don't always be opposed to the actions of other people. Please, Mum, I implore you to work with us this time." Entitled Aunt said, "Sorry, Cece, I simply can't. And if you want to stay with OP, PBF, and IC, just know I will never consider you to be a son." After EA said that, she cut off contact with her son who was in college. This still remains a very touchy subject, and most of the family don't want to talk about it. 2 months after the incident, PBF and IC got married in a church. Me and Cece remain close with them, and we occasionally hang out sometimes. EA went to Dubai to live there with her husband. The rest of our families accepted the marriage without any problems. There was one word in there which you probably noticed I didn't say out loud, because I'm not sure if it's spelt the same way, but can come across as a racist way if I say it, so I was just being a bit touchy with that. I was just being a bit wary of that word, so I hope you understand. Our next story is from Sevosaurus Rex. Ian believes she is the queen of all she surveys. Obligatory English is my first language. I'm on mobile. I never thought I'd have to post anything here. You know the drill. EM, delusional idiot. CG, cool guy with a motorbike. Me, the man in the mirror. I live in a row of terraced housing where the back gardens from mine and the road behind face each other, and between them lies an alleyway to allow people access to the back of their property, with a metal gate at either end. 2 doors down from me is a cool guy who rides his motorbike to and from work, and uses the alleyway in order to park his bike in his garden. About 15 houses down the opposite way, on the other side of the alley, lives EM and a gaggle of miscreants, who by rights I should only just be able to hear, but they seem to have been enrolled in some sort of scientific study to find the loudest shriek known to man, governed by the kind of mother that prefers to shout obscenities instead of actually parenting. At no point would CG ever have to cross behind EM's house. And then there's me, trying to enjoy the unseasonably warm weather as best as I can, whilst being distracted enough by the constant metronome of rustling trampoline springs that I've managed to read the same paragraph 3 times over. Enter cool guy, slowly manoeuvring his bike over the gravel and broken glass and rolling into his garden, shutting off the engine. 30 seconds later brings the crunch, crunch, crunch of someone hot stepping their way up the alley. EM says, "Excuse me." Brief pause while CG sticks his head out of his back garden. EM says, "Yeah, sorry, but can you not ride your bike down here? There's children playing." CG says, "I'm just parking it up." "Right, but can you not? It's not safe, there's kids around." There's a moment of silence where I can damn near read his thoughts over the space of 2 gardens. His thoughts feel a lot like, "The fuck?" CG says, "Well, I can't exactly drive it through the house, can I?" She said, "So park it around the front." He says, No thanks, it's in my garden so it doesn't get nicked." EM says that's not my problem. The problem is you're not allowed to be driving that thing up and down the alley. It's dangerous and there's kids playing that you could hurt. CG said, and that's not my problem. It's an alley, not a playground. We all have access to it. EM said, not to ride motorbikes up and down it. Do it again and I'll be calling the police. CG said, for what? Using my own back gate? Dangerous driving, putting kids at risk. That's why there is a padlock on the gate. You put a padlock on the gate? Fucking right I did, to stop idiots like you fucking around. So I'm telling you, if you do it again, I'm calling the police and letting them know you broke in. CG said, hang on, you put a padlock on the gates and cut off anyone being able to get in to get to their gardens. I'm sure the council will love you for that. EM said, look, that's your warning. Piss me off again or come near my kids with that thing and I'm calling the police. He said, or you can tell your kids to stay in the garden like everyone else's is and not play in an alley filled with shit and glass. I'm sure the police have got more pressing matters at hand. You don't own this alley, alright? And it can be used for vehicle access, which is what I'm doing. So you can fuck off back to your brood, okay? EM kind of sputters as CG slams his back gate in her face, but recovers enough to shout a single, heartfelt fuck you over the garden wall. CG briefly meets my eye, and we both laugh and shake our heads at her gall. A reaction that earned me a scowl, and you can fuck off and all, as she stalked past my garden. I kind of wanted to call the police, so she can get a royal chewing out for wasting police time during a pandemic. For restricting access to a thoroughfare that gets used by emergency service vehicles, clearly someone else was pissed off enough to cut the damn padlock off, and for being an all-round shitty parent for letting their kids, and all their friends, social distancing anyone, play in an area that is a tetanus shot waiting to happen. Rock on cool biker guy, I like that guy. This is definitely a British story, I can tell by the terraced housing and the way they're saying, you can fuck off and all. I can just picture it in my head. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed these stories. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe hit that notification bell as well, as it will really help out this channel. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Much love guys.